Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. We are here after the first round of the NFL draft and some important game twos of the NBA. We're going to do more draft stuffs. The most shocking moment of the night, Shedeur Sanders not being a first round pick. There was smoke about Jackson Dart being a first rounder and Shedeur not. That ended up coming true. But there's a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about the best and worst picks, some winners and losers of round one. Overall, how did you like the draft? I'll start with you, Drew.
I was pretty excited with the draft. It was kind of, I don't want to say boring per se. I think that some picks went to script. I was pretty bummed when Genty went six. Obviously, I felt like it was a lot for me to ask for my Broncos to trade up into the top 10 and snag Genty. But now that we have to go ahead and face him two times a season, on top of that, too, it hurts. It does hurt. My Broncos, they made a smart decision going with Jade Barron. The Broncos fans, we really wanted a skill position player. We want our guy Bo Nix to have some help. But we went with shoring up what is going to be one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in football. We made amazing moves around the margins in free agency with Hufanga, Dre Greenlaw. But now you go ahead and you add a lockdown, versatile corner in Jade Barron. I am a little bit more of a Will Johnson guy, but it doesn't seem like the NFL is much of a Will Johnson guy. The fact that he wasn't a first-round selection outside of Shedeur, that was my biggest surprise of night one. But I'm excited. Saw some great moments. We'll see how some of these picks age, but I thought it was a great draft day.
Yeah, I thought the draft definitely got off to a bang. Of course, Jacksonville trading up from 5 to
I was
2.
lit.
I was anticipating no action because leading up to the draft, like an hour or two before, every reporter was saying there's so much noise, these trades are going to happen, everything is going to go down. And I was just like, I feel like there's too much noise for the trade to actually happen. But then basically right when the Titans made their pick, they selected Cam Ward. We got the news that the Jaguars traded up and they gave up a haul. I mean, they gave up number 5, they gave up a second, they gave up a future first. They gave up a ton to just move up 3 spots. And you have different opinions, right? You have some people who say you shouldn't give up that much draft capital for a player who's not a quarterback, which I understand. But I think in this draft class specifically, and we talked about this in the mock, there's such a huge gap after those first 3 players, right? Cam Ward it's kind of weird because he's not like a tier 1 player, but he's far and away the best quarterback. So he's kind of in this tier just as is. But Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter, those are like the 3 blue chip prospects that you feel like can alter your franchise. So sure, you're moving up only 3 spots, but the player you're getting at 2 compared to the player you're getting at 5 is night and day. Like, I think Mason Graham is going to be a really good player, but at the end of the day, he's an interior defensive lineman who doesn't have the most pass rushing upside, right? It seems unlikely he's going to turn into a Dexter Lawrence, for example, compared to a guy like Travis Hunter, who could be a top 10 receiver. And we've seen in the NFL, if you're able to get a top 10 receiver, how much that can change your offense, how much that could really change your franchise, even though it might not be a quarterback or a left tackle like we've seen in years past. So I thought it was awesome. We just got some movement in the top 5. But overall, I was happy the Jets got Membu. Genty going at 6. I feel you, Drew. I know there was a report from Rossini about an hour before that the Broncos were trying to move up in the top 10, which I would assume would be for Genty. I just feel like it would have been too expensive. I feel like you give up 2 first-round picks, probably 2 second-round picks. It's just such a huge move because you realistically have to go from 20 to probably pick 5 to get ahead of the Raiders. It's just such a massive move that I think you guys did the right thing. You get Barron, who is probably the best player available, and you're sitting here at day 2. I know you're 20 picks away or so, but there's basically all the running backs outside of Hampton are still on the board. So you can even move up and get one or just sit where you are and still get a really good running back.
Yeah, I was able to keep track of it on my phone. The Travis Hunter trade definitely shocked me because I didn't see him going to Jacksonville. I saw a lot of smoke to where you can see him go to the Giants. You can even see him going to Cleveland. I thought Cleveland trading down. For me, it felt like they wasn't comfortable with the top guys at the front in terms of just the quarterbacks or Abdul Carter because, they still have Myles Garrett and stuff like that, or just Travis Hunter. I thought Will Johnson, falling out the first round definitely shocked me too. Drew, I'm with you on that. But there's been lingering problems with his knee. So I get that. But when he's on the field, he is a special talent. Definitely should have went top 10, 15 just off talent alone. But yeah, the biggest shock is obviously Shedeur falling out the first round. That's somebody who, we thought would at least go in the first. I've been screaming Jackson Dart in the first round for some time now. I knew that was gonna happen. I didn't think he would fall out. It was too much shit going on to where he wouldn't. We always find a way to get those quarterbacks in the first round. But Cam Ward to the Titans seems like Will Levis' time as the Titans quarterback is pretty much donezo, as it should be. But definitely a good draft, definitely a good first round. A lot of good talent to go around.
Or the number 1 overall pick, Cam Ward. I think he has a chance to do something really special in Tennessee. I love his talent. I love his leadership. 0-star quarterback coming into college and was able to be the first overall pick. I think that's pretty impressive. Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars, hometown, Jacksonville. That was my favorite moment of the night. I think the Jaguars shored up 2 holes with that trade. They need another wide receiver to complement Brian Thomas Jr. They got that. And at Colorado ran a ton of screens. And Liam Cohen last year with the Buccaneers, they were the number 1 screen heavy offense in the NFL. That is already a fit. Travis Hunter is going to get a lot of easy touches just off that. And then on defense, Tyson Campbell, Travis Hunter, I think that's a young cornerback duo. I'm ready to say that I think Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr., they're so talented. I think they're already a top 6 wide receiver duo in the NFL. And there are some duos ahead of them, like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, who Tyreek is on the older side and he's on a come down. Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, maybe we have 1 or 2 more years of Devontae playing at a high level. They're on the come down. The Jaguars, I think, in the next 3 years can have one of the 3 or 4 best wide receiver duos in football. I think Travis Hunter is that good. He's the highest wide receiver drafted since Calvin Johnson. I think he's a generational prospect.
You're saying like top 6, like as of today, like right
as
now,
of today. As of today.
That's interesting.
Who'd you have above them? I mean, you got the Eagles,
Number 1,
you got the Bengals.
Yes. Bengals, Eagles, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings. Number 6, I'll probably have the Bucs still. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, just because of respect.
I would take.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You can. That's where the argument starts, but I would take them over DK Metcalf and George Pickens. You cannot rely on George Pickens. I feel like I can rely on this wide receiver duo more. And I think Brian Thomas Jr. is better than DK Metcalf. So I think the Jaguars secured a good future for them. And then with the Browns, they traded back, and I feel like it was a move for them that there's so many holes on their team that they didn't think that just taking Travis Hunter fixes things. I think they're going to sign or trade for Kirk Cousins eventually, and he'll be their bridge quarterback for the year. But getting Mason Graham, having Myles Garrett, and Isaiah McGuire was really underrated for them off the edge last year. I think you just get an extra first-round pick next year, they're going to be fine, But my favorite moment was definitely Travis Hunter going to the Jaguars.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I think if you want to, jump the gun on BTJ and Travis Hunter, the talent is there. I respect that you gave Mike Evans and Godwin a little bit respect though, because Godwin was having a great year before he went down with an injury, and Mike Evans was he's always been amazing in his stint there. So I get it. Definitely the potential is there. Like if Trevor Lawrence is back, and then you have those 2 guys, with Travis Hunter, he's probably gonna play both positions. I probably could see him playing more wide receiver than cornerback, but he's definitely gonna play both positions. You got Trevor Lawrence, you got BTJ. That's definitely gonna open up the field a lot more. But yeah, listen, Jacksonville, they saw something they wanted. And sometimes when you see a talent that you just can't walk away from, you kind of have to make a big move. And like you mentioned, Dels, did they give up a lot? Probably. But Travis Hunter is, if not one, the second best prospect in this class by far. So, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
Yeah, I think I do think it's interesting because the Jaguars aren't like locked to be a great team next year, but I also think about what the Texans did a few years ago with Will Anderson when they traded up to Will Anderson, and we were like, damn, you're willing to give up your first round pick next year after they just drafted CJ Stroud at number 2 overall. We're like, you were awful, and you're betting on next year not being a top 5 pick, top 10 pick. And of course, we know you win the division, you go to the playoffs, it ends up being in the 20s. And you basically gave up the 20th overall pick for the number 3 overall pick, future rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. So it worked out for them. But the Jaguars are kind of in that similar mold when I look at their roster, because they're not locked to be a playoff team by any means, right? I think getting Travis Hunter, of course, increases your odds, and the division is just so bad that you're able to go into this upcoming season feeling pretty confident that if Trevor Lawrence is healthy, if Liam Cohen hits, if you hit on some guys in day 2 and day 3, sure, we could win 8 to 10 games potentially. But this is a roster that needs a lot of help, and you gave up a lot of future assets, including, assets in this draft as well. And there's some holes to fill on this Jaguars team, right? Especially on that defense that could use some work. But I think it's a risk probably a risk you're worth, a risk that is worth taking because Travis Hunter is so good and just, he could change your franchise.
We're going to get into the best picks of the first round / first round draft winners. I think the back end of this was really where it shined. The Eagles got Jahad Campbell, a Pro Bowl linebacker. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowl. And you look at the Eagles linebacking core from 2 years ago to now, it's night and day. The Chiefs got Josh Simmons, who I think is an elite left tackle prospect. And because of injuries, he fell all the way to 32. And then the Ravens got Malachi Starks. Safeties just fall to them. They got Kyle Hamilton. Last year, they got Nate Wiggins, who corner. This year, it's Malachi Starks. They're building up a really good secondary. What were some of your favorite picks from the first round, some first-round draft winners?
I'll say this. I was pretty shocked for the first time in what seems like my lifetime. The Green Bay Packers decided to go wide receiver. Seeing him fall all the way to pick 23, I was under the assumption that Green Bay was going to go defense. One, because I feel like that's a huge need for them, especially edge rusher, given that there were some strong candidates to be selected at 23. But when we saw Matthew Golden fall on the board, it kind of made their decision very easy. And for Jordan Love, I love that for him. He goes and he gets solidified wide receiver 1. The two of them should have a ton of fun. Now, in the moment, I was kind of taken aback just for the sole fact that, again, I wanted a skill position player for my Denver Broncos, especially with Golden falling all the way to 20. Omarion Hampton was there at 20. We need a running back really badly. But upon reflection, I'll be honest with you, it's one of my favorite, if not the favorite pick that I have of this draft. Jahdae Barron, who is going to come in and be our cornerback 2. And if he was going to be drafted by another team, he would have been in contention to be their cornerback 1. It's just we have the luxury of having the best corner in football. Now, I already talked about it a little bit, but when you look at the moves that we made this offseason with Hufanga and with Drake Greenlaw, this was a move to solidify the maybe only weakness we have on our defense, which would be that cornerback 2, cornerback 3. But you just look at the overwhelming depth that we have in the DB room. The fact that it's Surtain, Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan, Brandon Jones, Talanoa Hufanga, Chris Abrams-Drain, and now you add Jahdae Barron to this group. This secondary is special, and we're trying to recreate the no-fly zone, and that really can happen when you do have the best in the game and with the potential that Jahdae Barron does have. And again, when I look at what can happen in day 2, basically all the running backs, minus, of course, Hampton and Genty, are going to be available to us. And even if that means having to trade up to maybe go and get Henderson onto the squad, there's still so many great running back prospects regardless that I still think that we could stay put and we can still bring in a home run draft pick. But I love Jahdae Barron to my Broncos. And the last one, I know that you are, let me not say you're a little bit indifferent, but Shamar Stewart to the Bengals. They needed an edge rush. They needed a strong defensive player. I love his athletic tools. I know that we talk about the production, but he was able to get to the quarterback without, unfortunately, finishing the play. Had 43 pressures, which did leave the Aggies. I think he's going to be a difference maker for them. And I think he needs some development. That being said, they needed defense. I thought this was a great pick for them.
Yeah, a couple picks stuck out to me. Tampa Bay getting Emeka Egbuka. I thought
that was good.
Thought that was good.
Shocked me though. I was shocked.
I definitely was too. But watching Ohio State all last year, them being my team, and us winning the championship, I was able to watch him just be a great player and a great leader for them. And he can do it all. He's not this burner. He's not this guy that'll break you down, but he's like a jack of all trades. He can block. He has good route running ability, solid speed, good hands. He can go deep. He can hit the short. He can hit the intermediate. And with Chris Godwin, like we just mentioned, him, dealing with that injury, whenever he's going to get back, how is he going to look? You kind of need a wide receiver that's, does a little bit of the dirty work, that can do a little bit of everything, that can help you out in screen routes, that can go short, I mean, like I said, we don't know what Chris Godwin's going to look like. He's a little bit up there in age, if I'm not mistaken. Not too old, but he's up there in age. Plus, he's coming off the injury. So I thought, him going to Tampa was interesting. Another one was Amarion Hampton to the Chargers after they just signed Najee Harris, excuse me. I didn't I don't I don't want to say I hate or like any other picks. I just think that one was interesting because you did, pay Najee a little bit of money. I like the dynamic playmaker you want to bring in Amarion Hampton. I think for the most part, the whole podcast is pretty big on him, pretty high on him as a player. Just his ability to just get separation, his ability to shoot the gaps, his play catching ability. And then one more that I saw that really, yes, it was the Giants getting Jackson Dart.
You
Yeah,
like Dart?
I don't want to say I like
He's
Dart.
not bad.
He's not bad. I just always thought he screamed New York. It just felt like a New York pick. And with the Giants having Russell Wilson there, Dart doesn't have to play right away. So I remember Dells, he brought up this scenario where I forgot the coach's name, but the coach and the owner are kind of like on the hot seat.
Dable, yeah.
Yeah, Dable. They're kind of on the hot seat and they still kind of want to win. So with Russell Wilson, you get that kind of balance of you still want to remain competitive, but now you have Jackson Dart, who's kind of going to be the next guy up. And like you mentioned, he's not bad. He's still relatively young, so that's something good. And the Giants, realistically, you could wait another year to play Jackson Dart anyway. So I thought that pick, trading and then getting that pick, I thought that one was pretty interesting too.
Joel, let me ask you, because I did see your list of your least favorite players, and this is a big conversation of favorite. So, maybe we can table this. That being said, Jackson Dart, I'm not the hugest fan of him. Over these last couple of days, I had to do my due diligence to get hip to Jackson. Obviously, big arm, can move, maybe just takes one too many hits. That's a big problem of his, no doubt. Doesn't know when to get down. The only reason why I would be in favor of them doing what they did was that if he is who they think he can be, they get the fifth-year option. That's the one positive of them trading back in for me to get Jackson Dart. But I'm curious your thoughts onto Jackson Dart.
I think it's just a scheme fit. That's what it comes down to. Shedeur Sanders' offense in Colorado, much like Jackson Dart's and Ole Miss, was very gimmicky. Shedeur Sanders threw a lot of screens, threw a lot of high completion passes. Jackson Dart, I think over 52% of his passes were play action passes. I just think that the tools with Jackson Dart, you can sell yourself a little bit more on. When you look at both of their arms, Jackson Dart might have a little bit of a better arm. And when you look at their athleticism, Jackson Dart is a little bit more athletic. There's a lot of sacks that Shedeur Sanders takes on film that are backbreaking, that are him running back 10 to 15, 20 yards like Zach Wilson and then taking a sack. So I think those things and the scheme fit is the biggest reason why I think they leaned Jackson Dart. And a lot of the concepts that he ran at Ole Miss are similar to the concepts that Brian Dable ran with Josh Allen in Buffalo. So I think there's just a familiarity there with those two. So that's why I think he was the pick over Shedeur. And I don't think they're too far off his prospects. There are people that have Shedeur over Jackson Dart. There are people that have Jackson Dart over Shedeur Sanders. I don't think this is like Cam Ward, Gap, and then the rest of the field. I think with Shedeur and Jackson Dart, it was really about who you preferred. And there's a lot of people that went either way with it.
Yeah, the other name I'll throw out here, just in terms of some of my favorite picks of this draft, was Derek Harmon going to the Steelers.
Yeah.
He was someone
Sure.
that I guess we anticipated. We thought that Mason Graham would go above him, Walter Nolan, but in terms of being a pass rusher from the interior, 41 hurries last year was number one in the nation for interior defensive linemen. So the fact that the Steelers are able to get a guy like that to be a Hayward replacement sometime in the future as he continues to play. It seems like he's like 45 years old at this point, but still continues to produce. He feels like someone that's going to fit into that Steeler culture and be a contributor day one. I do think the Omarion Hampton pick is interesting, as you mentioned, Riv, because when the Najee contract first came out, it was like 1 year, $9.5 million. Like, oh, that's a big deal. And then a couple of days later, it's like, oh, it's like $4 or $5 million guaranteed. And you see the guaranteed money he got compared to a guy like, or like annual value compared to a guy like Jordan Mason or Devin Singletary. And it's like, oh, this is kind of like backup-ish money. So I'm expecting that, or I guess the Chargers expected that Najee is going to be more of our 1B / our 2, and they wanted to go into this draft to select a running back. I know they were looking to move back as well, so it's not like they were infatuated with Hampton. They were trying to move up, or they were, in love with him, so they wanted to stick there. They were looking to move back, but the fact that they stuck there and pick him, I think shows that, of course, he's an important piece to this team. Jackson Dart conversation is interesting because some of the PFF numbers are in love with him in terms of big time throw rate. He was number 2 in the nation, adjusting completion percentage, or excuse me, this isn't number in the nation, just in terms of this draft class, 22 quarterbacks. He was number 2 in big time throws, number 6 in adjusting completion percentage. In terms of his air yard percentage, he was number 8. So some of the numbers, advanced numbers, do really like Dart. My only concern is just Ole Miss offense. It's just a lot of it is one read, and if it's not there, he's taking off. And it's a negative, obviously, because to be a great quarterback in the NFL, you have to go through your reads. It's impossible to just be a one-read quarterback and be an elite guy. It's just not going to happen. But what Brian Dable has shown in the past is he could take a quarterback with flaws. He could take a quarterback that's not elite, and he could put him in a good position to succeed. We saw that a couple of years ago with Daniel Jones, who that one year he was healthy and the offensive line was healthy with Andrew Thomas. They made the playoffs and they won a playoff game. Of course, they ended up, losing to the Philadelphia Eagles, but that was a team going into the year that had basically no expectations and were the biggest surprise of the year and went on the road and beat a Vikings team that won 14 damn games that year. So Dable has shown that even if the quarterback isn't perfect, he can make the offense work around him. With that being said, this is still going to be Russell Wilson's job, right? I think for a majority of the season, it's going to be Russ's job. And if you're a Giants fan, it's kind of, I think it's kind of difficult to know what you want to root for. Like, I guess you want to root to win, obviously, right? Like if you're a Giants fan, you want to root to win, but if things go south, right, and Russell Wilson ends up getting benched, it's probably because you're losing. And if you're losing, Dable probably gets fired, which means you bring in a new head coach and new GM who didn't really want Jackson Dart. So it's just, again, when you have when you have a head coach and a GM who's on the hot seat and it's 1 year to make the playoffs or you get fired, this is kind of the situation you get into where you draft these guys in round 1, hoping that they could save your job. Of course, it's so early. It's April. No one's even put on pads or anything like that. But just something I'm thinking ahead of time where if Russell Wilson doesn't go out there and ball out, Dart's going to have to get thrown to the fire pretty early.
Well, he won't.
So you think Jackson Dart's going to start by like week 5?
Nah, but Russell won't ball out, man.
Russell mini balled out with the Steelers.
He's all right. Yeah,
he's going to take care of the ball. He's going to do what he has to do. My biggest question mark with the Giants is, was there any competition to trade up for Jackson Dart? Because they were picking at the top of the second round.
But again, the 5th-year option, that's the reason why I'm okay with it.
You can go up to like 30, though. You
have to take that into account. Brian Dable, Joe Shane.
I thought about that too, but then you have the Chiefs and you have the Eagles. The Eagles might snipe one of those back-end defensive players. And then we all knew that they were going we all knew that the Chiefs were going tackle regardless. But maybe the Bills, given who they selected, or who am I thinking of? Not Washington, because I like their selection. They took the offensive lineman. That was a great selection. Yeah, the Rams trade out. That's who it was actually.
They could have taken Dart. Yeah, I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen some people say that the Rams like Dart. Some reports saying he didn't. It is funny that the Giants just like, if you have any connection to us, we like you. Daniel Jones reminded them of Eli Manning. Of course, Dart, Ole Miss, Eli Manning. It's just funny that like, if you have a connection to the Giants in some way, and you're a quarterback, we're going to draft you.
I was bummed that the Rams traded out of the first round because I really badly wanted them to be the team that drafted Shedeur Sanders. I actually don't know if there would have been a better situation for him to go to other than LA. Really, it's just it's beautiful. Then when I saw they traded out with the Falcons, I started to scratch my head like, why? And then I saw the bag they received, and then I shut up very quickly because I can't believe they were able to snatch a first-round pick off of Atlanta.
Yeah, they were one of the winners of the draft just because of that trade alone. They got a first-round pick for next year, and this is their all-in year. Matthew Stafford's getting older. If they decide to go into a mini retool next year, they have the capital to maybe trade up and get a quarterback, and that draft class should be better with quarterbacks. I think there's higher upside quarterbacks in that draft class. There were very few picks in this draft in the first round that I didn't like. I liked a lot of them, especially in the back half of the first round. Josh Simmons to the Chiefs, I thought that was A plus. Eagles, Jahad Campbell, I thought that was an A plus. The Commanders getting Josh Connerly and just building that offensive line. I thought they were going to go with a defensive lineman, but they didn't. And I'm happy they didn't because you got to protect Jaden Daniels. I think it's the number one priority. The Lions taking Tyleek Williams, Ravens taking Malachi Starks. The Vikings, non-sexy pick with Donovan Jackson, but they needed to fill up a guard position, and he's a really good player. The Chargers, I think, are winners because of just what Jim Harbaugh has built since he's gotten to the Chargers. You look at what they started with, the clean slate of Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler and everybody going, and then you add in Joe Alt, Lam McConkey, Omarion Hampton, Najee Harris, Mekhi Becton in those couple of years. Like, I feel like the Chargers are loading up, and I think the Broncos made a great pick with Jahdae Barron, but I feel like as a Broncos fan, you can't help but feel like the two teams inside your division got Ashton Genty and Omarion Hampton, and if they're both really good, even if Barron is excellent, it's kind of like I think a running back was the missing piece for the Broncos. I think it was that.
There's still so many available in this draft. And I think that a good portion that showed up to the combine will get drafted this weekend. Again, if we draft Trayvon Henderson and we were able to secure who in a lot of people's eyes was the number one corner on their board, I think that we leave one of the biggest winners of the weekend because I agree with you. The fact that Genty and Omarion both are in our division was definitely a bummer. I'm not going to sit and lie to you, but if we get Trayvon Henderson, we got the third best running back in this class. I am more than happy with that. And then we go and we have day 2, day 3 picks of just skill position players. It'll work out in the end. The fact that Jahdae dropped to 20 in and of itself, I think that's one of the reasons why we had to snatch that.
Yeah, I think they leaned into their strength. They were the first ranked defense last year, and you added 3 great defensive players to that defense. So it's hard to regress if you're adding talent. The other picks that I really liked, I like just the defensive line picks. I think the big winners of the draft were defensive linemen in the trenches. There were 10 defensive linemen that were drafted. Walter Nolan to the Cardinals, I really liked. I liked Kenneth Grant to the Dolphins. I like Derek Harmon to the Steelers being a Cam Hayward replacement. Although the Dolphins, I'd rather them draft a tackle just because of how dire they need offensive linemen. Michael Williams to the 49ers, they needed a pass rusher. And the Saints, they declined Trevor Penning's 5th-year option. They went with Kelvin Banks Jr., who now they can play him at left tackle. Fuaga was a right tackle coming out of college. You can slide him back to his natural position. I felt like there were a lot of picks that I really loved in this draft. There's really not much I didn't. The Jets, to talk about them, Membu, natural right tackle, plug and play. I think now they're building a good offensive line. It's a good infrastructure. Everybody on the offensive line has pedigree. And I guess the last thing I want to talk about in terms of great picks, best picks of the first round, is one that maybe received a little bit of controversy, but it's Ted McMillan going to the Panthers. We thought they were going to go defense, and then they go Ted McMillan. And I can't say it was a bad pick just because of what they have currently helping around Bryce Young. Ted McMillan, I think, is an awesome compliment to his skill set, and I'm not mad that they didn't go defense.
I wish I was stuck to my guns. Sorry, Riv. I know you're the other Carolina guy on this panel, so please.
I'm gonna listen. Year early, baby. Year early. But this right here, this is the year. But yeah, no, I'm with you, Joel. Listen, they feel the need. They feel the need. They needed a guy out there on the outside. Adam Thielen can't play football forever, man. He cannot play football forever. And I think Ted is a good prospect. I think Ted is in this draft class for this purpose. I think he's a great prospect. I think he should have went top 10, top 15. And I think for what Carolina is building, I thought their defense last year wasn't terrible. I thought that it was solid, and they have some young talent out there. J.C. Horn had his great year last year. They still have Derek Brown. I think they have a good amount of talent on the defensive side, and they can still go defense in this draft. But you had a guy sitting there in Ted McMillan, big, tall, somebody who still has that speed at that size. I think he can fit right along with Bryce, especially how Bryce finished off the year last year. You kind of want to build off that. And I think getting Ted was dope. I think it's interesting because I always felt like Tet was a Carolina if he got there, because that was just such a wide need, like such a glaring need for them. I'm confused at why Carolina's upset about it. Honestly,
There's
Yeah,
some
they
fans.
shouldn't be upset. I think because I think who were they? I'm taking Micah Williams, or I don't remember who we
No,
had in the
we had
first
Jalen
Jalen
Walker.
Walker.
Jalen Walker. Yeah, I think I just don't think you could really take a risk this year because we're in such dire need for a receiver, right? These last couple of years, they've taken Xavier Legette as like back of the first round. Jalen Coker, who I think is, definitely has some upside, but still he was like a day 2, day 3 pick. Of course, like you guys mentioned, Thielen there. So they haven't really invested heavily in the receiver position. Again, Xavier Legette was a first round pick, but it was back in the first in a wide receiver grouping that it was like him and Ricky Pearsall was in that group. Of course, Ladd gets selected later on. He looks like he's the star out of the bunch, but it's not like either of those guys were really looked at as like these high-end can't miss prospects. And even though Tet has, been shit on a bit throughout this process, he was pretty clearly to me the best wide receiver on the board. So I would rather, if I'm Carolina, I would rather take the more sure thing or, the guy that has a 70% chance to end up being a starter compared to a guy you're taking on day 2 or day 3 that is kind of in line with what you already have, right? I think if you took a Isaiah Bond, for an example, can he cut through the noise with all of the other kind of 2s and 3s you have there? I don't know. But Tet is someone that gives you a true X, a true 50-50 ball guy as well. He should help out in the red zone with Bryce Young. So I don't mind going offense there with Ted at 9.
Now going to the worst picks of the first round.
Jackson
Dart
only
is
guy.
the highlight boy here. Even though we're going to mention some other people, this is just the one that I think everybody's kind of collectively down on.
it's kind of
But
handsome.
it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, the Giants fans didn't like Daniel Jones' pick at first, and he had a pretty good rookie year. They drafted another Eli Manning clone with Jackson Dart, even though I know their play styles are different. I talked about Jackson Dart though, and I just think he's more of a scheme fit, and that's why they went with him. The other worst picks of the first round that I want to talk about, the Falcons. I feel like it's more so, it's in the
Package.
eye of the beholder. That's where the beauty lies from, because drafting Jalen Walker, who can play off the edge and then
That was a
play
dub.
off ball. Yeah, I think that's a good pick, and he has high upside. So that's a big boost to their defense. And then James Pierce Jr., who was highly productive. He's a speed to power rusher, but he has shorter arms. He was highly productive, but his first step is elite, but his move and skill set doesn't have much in the repertoire. So I think that was one where people not only it was hard for them to wrap their mind around the draft capital used to get him, but also the prospect himself. Like when the Texans went to go get Will Anderson, it was kind of like, oh, this is a little bit too much, but he's also like the best edge in this draft. James Pierce is like, oh, you're trading a first round pick, and we don't know. I think he's more of a complimentary edge rusher. If he's your best edge rusher, I don't know if I feel great about it. But if you're looking at it from the other lens, they got 2 defensive players, 2 edge rushers. They need edge rushers. And if you trust Raheem Morris to develop them, then they shouldn't be bad.
I liked Mike Green at that spot instead of James Pierce. If they would have left this draft with Jalen Walker and Mike Green, I would have been very intrigued with the Falcons. I think also giving up a first is why I look at that pick, and especially for my big board, having Mike Green a decent amount of spots ahead of him. That's the only reason why I was kind of shocked. I know Mike Green has the off the field issues. That's an obvious fair assessment. That being said, I just think he's more talented. Was pretty productive last season as well. But you give up a first round pick. Listen, James Pierce better be nice. He better produce at a very high level immediately. But like you mentioned, there really weren't too many bad picks. The last pick that I want to highlight would be the Bills selecting Maxwell Hairston. Not that he's a bad corner, but man, what is wrong with Will Johnson? I tweeted it jokingly saying this guy's knee just might be held on by a piece of dental floss. Like what really is it about it that you decided to pass on who I believe coming in was the best corner in this draft to not be selected in the first round and to not be only selected in the first round, to have 2 corners selected over him, 2 on top of it. That was shocking to me. I thought that there was multiple times where teams just had Will Johnson fall into their lap. Chargers were one, for instance, where I understand the selection of Omarion Hampton, no doubt. I think he's going to be a talented dude. However, with the connection to Harbaugh, I believe very easily that was going to be a spot where he get landed. Minnesota, he was one of those where Minnesota was just able to stand put. I thought Will Johnson was a good destination for them. They pass on him. And then the Bills go and actually take a corner, and it wasn't him. So that's where it kind of loses me there. But I think Harrison could still be a strong player. It's just I prefer Will Johnson.
Yeah, no, I saw super chat and it said I had kids. I only have one kid.
It said, "Hope your kid's good."
Yeah. What's the name? What was I about to say? Drew, I'm with you. I guess his knee is just really, really bad because there's definitely like if I'm Buffalo, Will Johnson, if his knee is fine, that's the pick. But Will probably goes higher, so you probably don't even get the pick Will Johnson. But in terms of getting Maxwell, I think I wouldn't say it's a bad pick. I'm interested to see how Buffalo moves within the next 2 or 3 months because I saw a tweet from Dalvin Cook earlier, which he commented on something that happened with James Cook and him not reporting to OTAs, voluntary OTAs, and Dalvin Cook was like $20 million per year, which gave me a little funny smile. Dalvin Cook and Buffalo are still trying to figure out a deal. Rasul Douglas became a free agent, so you know
James
he's not on the team. Benford's due for some money this year and next year.
He got extended.
Oh yeah, so he got extended. So now you need a guy who on the opposite side. And Maxwell's a good tackler. You know he's solid. He's a solid corner. But I'm interested to see if do they go running back in the second round. You know, is that something they think about with Cook possibly looking for $20 million a year? I don't know if you pay him that much. That's a lot for a running back, but definitely interested to see how Buffalo moves throughout this draft because also Josh was he had a presser and he was like, they still move like everybody eats. Like there's still a everybody eats type of motion offense. So I'm interested to see how that goes. But in terms of worst picks, I don't really have one. I love what my Eagles did. I loved it. It was great. I do wish. I guess the biggest loser would be Will Johnson for him falling out the first round, being that he's a first round talent.
Sorry, these are the spreadsheets. So this is 2025 stable cornerback grade comparison. Maxwell Harrison had the worst grade in single coverage of all of these corners that were measured. Coverage grade in a clean pocket, he was near the bottom still. And then coverage grade when the time to throw was over 3 seconds, he was near the bottom. I think that's why this was a bad pick. If anything, I think he's like more of a 40 time merchant. And even if Will Johnson's medicals are kind of alarming, I would have rather just taken him over Maxwell Harrison. I think I would just rather take the gamble and just take him. I didn't like the Maxwell Harrison pick all that much just because of the metrics around him. Really, the hype was he's the fastest guy to ever run at the combine, the 40 time. And then outside of that, like even on the broadcast and the draft broadcast, they're like, yeah, he's super fast and he has to be better in terms of route recognition. But, whenever he did allow a reception, he caught up to the guy and made the tackle. So that's that. And it's like, but I don't want the reception to be allowed anyway. I think that's the main purpose of playing corner. So I think there was other corners on the board. Like, even if they didn't trust Will Johnson, Benjamin Morrison, Trey Amos, those are dudes that I still would have drafted over Maxwell Harrison. That I think the Bills and corners in recent memory in the first round with Kyer Elam, it just
Awful.
That just comes to my mind.
His interview when he got drafted was cool. I forgot what the lady said, but she brought up Josh Allen. Like, oh, are you excited to play with Josh Allen? He was like, yeah, Josh Allen. If I'm on the field, he's gonna get the ball a lot next year. So it was cool to see him. I think Will Johnson, really, I do think he's just getting unlucky right now because last year in college, he had the turf toe injury, which, sidelined him for some time and impacted his play. Then at the combine, he had a hamstring injury. He didn't run the 40. So there were already questions about his long speed. If he did run the 40, people were concerned that it wouldn't be good enough if he ran to the 4.5s, 4.6s. And now all of a sudden he has this knee injury that at least Albert Breer is saying that it's not long-term, but it's more short-term. But I think teams are looking at it like, all right, in the last year, you've had 3 injuries, not even the last year, over the last 6 or 7 months. So drafting a guy that already has all of those injuries, I think it's bad timing because if this happened his freshman and sophomore year and he was healthy his junior year in the combine, he's probably a top 10 pick, right? So it's probably bad timing more than anything for Will Johnson. But I hear you guys, right? Like if this guy is healthy and if he didn't have this injury, this injured season in 2024, he seemed like a lock to be a top 15-ish pick. So it does seem just unfortunate and some bad timing for
He
him.
screams Eagles.
He's going to fall to 64 wherever you're picking next.
Yo, bro.
He fell at the
Oh,
first.
Cooper DeJean fell.
The Giants already traded out.
But he could sit out for the year, Del.
You know who probably is going to get him? Probably the Browns, and that would be pretty intriguing. You miss out on that too. They definitely could.
He definitely
The
could.
Browns could make out like bandits this draft.
They could take Travion Henderson too at the top.
They could. They do have 2 seconds. If they go and bring in Mason Graham, any variation of Will Johnson, Trayvon Henderson, or Shedeur Sanders, dude, that's pretty firm.
Does Will Johnson not remind you guys of like Denzel Ward?
He moves like him.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Denzel run like in the 4.4s?
I was gonna say,
I feel like one of the athlete-wise
fastest.
He might have been like 4.3.
I'm thinking more like just size, physical frame.
Yeah, I see that.
I know that Denzel has like a 96 speed in Madden, so
yeah.
No, Denzel's one of the fastest in the league.
He has a lot of concussion problems.
Yeah, the Shamar Stewart point that you mentioned, Drew. If the Ravens drafted him, I'd kind of be okay with it. The reason why I don't like the Bengals drafting him is because remember when I talked to you, Riv, we had a conversation about what's my expectations for the Bengals, and I said let's wait and see for the draft.
Yes.
That's based on if they draft players who I think could be immediate impact players, especially rushing and passer. Shamar Stewart had 4.5 sacks in 3 years in college. And he is an insane athlete. Like, I mean, a 100 RAS score. He is a rare athlete and he has a high motor, so he could develop. There's a chance. But for the Bengals, I kind of just feel like, damn, you kind of need somebody who you know is going to produce right away, especially taking pressure off of Trey Hendrickson. Seeing that Mike Green fell out of the first round, it seems like no team in the first round was comfortable taking him in the first because of the off the field stuff. But just as a pass rusher, he had 17.5 sacks this past season. Yeah. So that's somebody that I was looking at. And I'm like, I think the Bengals can't wait for development. They need guys who are ready to play now and can make impacts now.
What was Shamar Stewart's? That's his name, Shamar or Sean?
Shamar Stewart.
What was his pass rush win rate?
It was amongst the lowest amongst the edge rushers. Yeah, he's a really good run defender, though. That's where he shines. And he has plays where he looks like he can be dominant because he is a rare athlete. So that's what they're banking on. And maybe they'll end up being right because last year they drafted Armarius Mims, and Armarius Mims was a similar case. Although he had better production, even though in limited snaps, he was a rare athlete. And they banked on that. They banked on the traits, and they ended up being right. But the Bengals have a tendency to make picks like this. The recent edge rusher picks, Miles Murphy, he was an insane athlete, but didn't have production, and they drafted him in the first round. So the Bengals front office, they like to bet on guys that have traits and not necessarily the production. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
So who would you have taken, Mike Green?
Yeah, I think if, I don't know how bad the stuff is with him. So,
hey, listen, we took Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken Mike Green. Probably don't go defensive lineman. I mean, even Derek Harmon. I know they drafted defensive linemen last year in the draft in the interior, but they don't look like difference makers. Yeah. Like Chris Jenkins doesn't look like a difference maker. So even if it's 1 year, you kind of have to cut your losses. Like, we don't know if we can count on him, but they're probably still holding out hope that, no, we drafted him in the second round last year. We got to wait it out 1 more year. So I think they were going to go edge rusher no matter what, but even Gray Zabel, who went to the Seahawks, who I thought was a pretty good pick. Non-sexy pick, but a good pick nonetheless. Like, even if you go guard and you just hope that one of these edge rushers falls to you in the second round, because Mike Green has fallen. Donovan from Boston College is in the second round now. He fell. So I would have kind of just banked on that, or Josiah Stewart from Michigan. So I don't know. I just feel like the Bengals, with the team that's looking to compete right away, I don't feel the best that I have a question mark about their first round draft pick being an immediate production guy.
So question, a full panel question. If you're a GM, how far does a player have to go off the field for you not to pick him?
Like, what does he have to do? Like, he has to do something so bad.
And let's say he's super, like he's top 3 talent. What does he have to do? Like, how bad does it have to be?
In some of
for
the
you to say,
allegations Mike Green has against him, again, some of them have been cleared, some of them haven't. The stuff that he's done, I'd be like, yeah, I think I'm okay not drafting that guy.
okay.
There's
Okay.
some like there's some stuff that I think I don't want to say allow, but for example, like if you had a DUI, right, or a couple DUIs, it's like, okay, that's a lack of judgment. If you have domestic violence, abuse against women, stuff like that, I think those two type of
Right.
situations are looked at a lot differently amongst GMs.
I felt that.
My
Definitely.
moral high ground is high.
Yeah,
Doesn't
yeah. 'Cause
matter.
I feel like
Little things, I'm out.
some
It
GMs don't
depends on
really
your
have
team too,
morals.
Riv. Like if
Yeah.
you're the Eagles and you have that locker room and you have that leadership and that coaching staff and that front office where you feel like we could bring a guy in and mold him, that's different than a team like the Jets, for example, who are still trying to like build their culture. So I think it depends on the team you have too.
Well, there's no doubt about it. If the Chiefs needed an edge rusher bad, they were going to take him regardless. They're one of those teams. I think the Chiefs are one of those teams that they're going to do whatever it takes.
Yeah. I mean, New England did that for years under Bill Belichick. They would take chances on all these guys because you had such a strong leadership group there in culture with Brady on offense and Belichick on defense. So especially if you're in a winning culture, right? Like you go into a room and it's Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Chris Jones, you can't fuck around, right? Like you have a chance to win Super Bowls and be great. So it definitely depends on your room.
So now the last thing we'll mention is who will draft Shedeur Sanders?
Probably still the Browns.
I think it's going to be the Browns without a shadow of a doubt.
The Browns have pick 33 and 36. The Saints have pick 40. The Jets have pick 42. Then the Rams at 46. I feel like I don't know if he's going to fall much further than that. That'd be kind of crazy.
Rams would be kind of fire.
I want him to go to the Rams exceedingly bad.
That'd be fire. I like that actually.
I like
he
the
goes
Saints.
to the Rams,
take Ward and Shedeur.
If he goes to the Rams, I'm like 100% sure he will be a successful quarterback. He goes to the Browns, I'm like a firm 80% he's going to be good.
I like the Saints for him.
God, that's my least favorite destination.
Let's get Derek Carr out of there, man.
Derek Carr
just
question.
Derek Carr might not play this year, so that means Shedeur would probably have to start.
Chris Olave, Rashid
If he's
Shaheed,
ever on the field,
Eric McCoy,
ACL,
Kelvin Banks,
injured.
Fuaga.
Good players.
Yeah, I was to say they've taken some offensive line in the last couple of years. Trevor Penning will keep that pushing.
He's
But yeah,
bummed.
it feels like he's a Brown. You have two second round picks, two of the top 4 second round picks this year. If you don't take Shedeur, I just don't know what you're really doing at quarterback.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for him, man. He like went live on Twitch for the draft and everything. I saw his clip after it was posted on Bleacher Report. He was just, it's not the outcome that we all expected. We all know I should have been drafted, but
I don't feel bad for him. He's a millionaire. He'll be all right.
he had a media crew. There's a whole event, and then he doesn't get drafted.
His father was tweeting like, my son going top 5. What you talking about? And now look at him. That's not.
Yeah, I think there's like there's 2 different thought processes with Shedeur. There's the one that they're super fans of him and they think that the NFL is like blackballing him. He intentionally is not a first round pick for a reason. I think that's false. I think the other one is just the more realistic one is that he's a good prospect. Day 1, it's a little bit rich. Like the Steelers, yeah, they could have drafted him, but I like Derek Harmon a lot. Cameron Hayward is like 36 or 37 years old. You need somebody to replace him, and Derek Harmon's a perfect replacement. And the Steelers are still probably under the thought process that they're getting Aaron Rodgers. Shedeur wasn't going to play anyway, so I don't mind it all that much. I think Shedeur is a good quarterback. I don't think he has the high end traits to be a top 10 quarterback. So whenever you're drafting a player in the first round, and that is a quarterback, you kind of want those high end traits, and that's why Jackson Dart, I feel like he was more of a second round pick, but Drew, you mentioned it. They probably just want more control over that 5th year option. And with Shedeur, maybe it just doesn't matter to some of these teams.
Who do you want the Jets to take?
Wide receiver.
Luther Burden would be a home run. It would be a home run for you guys.
I would love a receiver.
There's a lot of wide receivers on the board. My favorite is Jalen Noel. Jalen Noel is really my guy. Like I
Wouldn't be upset with Jalen Milroe.
I would not. I would not.
I will say this. I really want Trayvon in round 2. If Luther Burden and both Trayvon are on the board at the same time,
I want Isaiah Bond, man.
I don't want to choose. Isaiah Bond, that could be a nice day 3.
I want a third receiver, man. The third receivers we've had have sucked.
You have Jahan Dotson though.
Exactly.
You have Terrence Marshall.
Exactly.
We discovered that on the last pod.
Okay, so if you guys are in the stream right now, we have 640 people in it. Make sure you guys drop a like on the stream. We're gonna go through these super chats and then talk about some of the game 3s in the NBA playoffs real quick. So AD goes, thank you for the donation. Goes, Shedeur will go to a team. P.S. How long till Jokic PR sweeps under a rug another playoff filler to push his 5th stat pad MVP?
It was funny. Swipa tweeted out how many playable players do the Nuggets have. I'm like, oh, this is where we are.
He does this every time they lose.
After game 1, they were winning the finals, and now they have 4 playable players.
To be fair, he did come in with the idea that the Clippers were gonna beat them.
Yeah, he did predict that. That's true.
I don't know. The Nuggets got whooped pretty bad.
I ride for my goat Swiper. Him and I got the Denver connection.
Is that $100 American dollars?
No.
No,
No.
it's rupees.
Rupees.
Rupees?
I believe so.
Really?
What's the conversion?
Yeah, I'm confused. Is that $5 or something?
I thought rupees was like a video game.
Probably is.
Uh
Rupees.
I don't believe Dells anymore. 2 years ago, if he would have said that, I believed him.
He
AD,
used to be really smart.
He
Dells
fell off
used to be
bad, bro.
really smart.
if you're still if you're still watching the stream, AD, let us know what is that, or if you're in the chat and you know what is this,
Hey, where are you from?
let
man?
us know. Snipes goes.
It's 100 Indian rupee. It's equal to $1.17.
you know ball.
Yeah. I thought it was Indian just off the name.
Wow. Dells.
That's just gotta be
Did you not think it was that? That was my
gotta
first
be
guess.
something. Yeah, you need
Refresh
Jesus
that.
Christ.
No, I just get a lot of Dubai content on my TikTok.
Really?
Spell
Yeah.
Dubai.
Dubai.
Riv, do you think he's right?
He is right.
All right, just want to make sure.
Dubai is beautiful,
It's
It is.
It's a 5-letter word. Respect me.
but if you go to the Indian street food section, sometimes the Indian street food section they be showing like bugs in the food and stuff. I don't think that's what it is, but
You hate
I
it.
don't know. I mean, I wouldn't try those specific ones. I don't know if it might be different because you never know. It could be something different. Snipes goes field goal attempts on 47 true shooting percentage this series. He's a playoff dropper.
Who is he talking about?
He has
I don't
to be
know.
talking about SGA.
He first 2 games was rough. Yo, we need to talk about Scottie Pippen Jr. possibly being the SGA stopper. No troll. No fucking troll.
I've been
He was
talking
on
about my
that,
goat Scottie
chart I
Pippen
sent
Jr.
today,
for
right?
some time now.
You said
He's
what,
one of
Dells?
them ones.
I think he was on that chart I sent that I don't know, NBA University. One of them tweeted out like the toughest defenders so far in the first round. I think it was Scottie Pippen versus SGA was like among
Yeah.
the 10 toughest.
He was on here. Yo, somebody just said Dubai's not in India.
No, it's not.
No,
It sounds Indian.
Well,
I thought it
you're
was-
an idiot, bro.
I thought it was Indian this entire time. You know what's in India? Bangladesh.
okay. It's
Is
just so different than Dubai.
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm some
That
geography
feels like a
major.
country, but I'm not gonna say anything.
Flaves goes, y'all help me get through work. Riv, hope your kid's good.
Shout out to him.
He's a real one for that.
Yes, sir.
Legend.
Cares
Say
about
thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Flaves. I like your dog.
Chris Bass goes, I get it, but look at Atlanta's edge room and trade makes more sense. If they get 2 impact players, giving up the first shouldn't bother them. I think this makes sense
I cook.
because
Bangladesh is a country.
That's the
Yeah.
country.
no, it is a country, but
Cooked. Let's go.
wait, so is India in the continent Asia?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Good. Hold on. It's the first right thing he said, so let's give him some praise.
Okay.
That was one of the few classes I got an A in geography.
Geography?
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that
All
class, man. It's fun.
I don't
Can
know.
you name me the big landmark in India? If you can get that right, I'll be honest, everything's washed away.
The landmark in India?
Yes. Yes.
He's
It's
waiting
one
for
of the
comment.
wonders. Let me not go that far. But it is a big landmark.
He's
It's
waiting for the
Eiffel
comment.
Taj
Tower.
Mahal.
Yes, Riv, son
Taj
of a
Mahal.
he's
Taj Mahal.
him.
Yeah, it sounds
Mahal.
Indian.
That sounds like that'd be a geography question.
I wouldn't have guessed
It
that.
is. The
Taj
Taj
Mahal.
Mahal, it's a huge landmark in India.
Yeah, Taj Mahal.
So
Right?
what is,
Yo,
is
Riv,
so
you're him.
so is India its own country? And are
Yes.
there
Yes.
are there any
yes,
are
it
there
is.
are there
Is
any
India its own
famous
country?
are there any famous like how does it work? Is it just like one piece of land or are there states in there?
What?
Is it like America or no?
No, I
It's
I
just
It's its
cities,
own
bro.
country. So yeah, it has cities.
It's
It
cities.
has cities. Yeah,
Only
obviously.
America does that state shit. I'll be honest. I think I'm pretty sure only America.
I think I need to get more politically correct because usually, you look at somebody that looks from that area, you just group them in. You just, that's Indian. It's no different than you look at a Spanish person and you're like, he's a Spanish person. You don't really try to be like, you don't really try to identify them based off the
But a
specific Spanish
person could be
country.
from so many different countries.
I know, but overall, you're just like, that's a Spanish person.
Sure, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, just
Apparently Germany, France, and other states or other countries have states too, according to Chris Stevens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
like just like if somebody's from Italy or Ireland, that's a white person. I don't really go
Yeah.
too deep into like where it is specifically.
It's more so like Middle Eastern, white, Spanish. Like I feel like that's more not like just Indian, but like more maybe just broader Middle Eastern kind of.
So if somebody's from Dubai, they're just from Dubai, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because my
makes
entire life I just thought that they were Indian. I just thought
do you know where Rome is?
Egypt, right?
No, you can't be serious. Are you being serious, Joel?
Italy, bro.
Joel. Really?
Well, I was, but now I'm not anymore. Rome. Where is Rome?
It's in Italy.
Wow.
It has the
okay.
Colosseum.
You know what?
Okay.
You might be smarter than Joel.
You learn something
Listen,
new every day.
geography, you can't beat me. Anything else? So you lose me.
So what states are in India? Is there any? Yeah. Okay, so I think Chris Bass has a point.
India has 28 states and 8 union territories.
My apologies.
28 states. I'm not gonna pronounce them personally. I don't want to butcher
Can you
them.
try?
Okay. Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh.
So
Assam.
you can't criticize me for thinking Bangladesh is in there.
No, I'm gonna be honest. It's not your finest moment. You got Bihar, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana.
These are hard to pronounce.
They are Odisha, Punjab,
I felt easy.
Sikkim.
Why am I a dumbass?
Who called them?
He just wanted to call you dumb, truthfully. I think that comment, he just really just wanted
Spell
to
my
call you
last
dumb.
name DELZ, calling me a dumbass.
Body them Dells. Cook them.
Come on, man.
DLZ is a crazy way to spell Dells. Yeah.
That's
Nagaland.
We didn't even get to Chris Bass's
That's another state. There are 29 states in India.
I did just say that.
You did.
he stopped listening, bro.
I did listen, and then I'm just trying to think of the names.
I read a few of them.
No, you did. You did. All right. So I'll go on TikTok later and look at the geography of this stuff.
Okay. So you
Why are you going on TikTok?
TikTok is just it's a search engine. You don't use it as a search engine?
Right, your brain.
I know, but like,
more.
why out of all, if you're trying to learn something like this, like not like a rest, like if I'm trying to learn like a new recipe, I'll go on TikTok. But like geography, I don't know if I'm going to TikTok for
No
it.
shot. No shot.
Nah, you gotta go. I've been recently on I've been on Bangkok TikTok.
Okay.
What have you learned?
What is wait?
It's
Joel,
beautiful. They have one of the biggest malls in the world there.
Well, what is Bangkok?
Like the hold up. I know it. I know
Let's
it.
go.
I believe you.
I know it. It's in Thailand.
Thailand.
Whatever. Same
There
shit.
you go.
Thailand. What the fuck?
No,
are
it's
you?
not the same shit.
It's not.
Same shit.
It's not the same
Yes.
shit.
So what if I had a condition that I could only pronounce that word that way? You feel like a dickhead for saying
no,
that.
I
wouldn't you?
wouldn't.
Yes,
I
you
wouldn't.
were.
I would say figure it out.
It's like Baltimore. How do you say Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
No.
No.
That is not true. You do not pronounce Baltimore the correct way, and you know it.
What do you mean? I never really taken notice of how I pronounce Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah, it just depends on the time of day. Sometimes I feel like enunciating a little bit more.
No, it's not about enunciating.
Eminem does it all the time with his raps.
You're not no fucking rapper, respectfully.
Yeah, but
Yo,
Eminem
hold
does
on,
it all the
hold on.
time.
Hold on, Joel. There's a receiver in Atlanta. His first name's Drake. What's his last name?
London. You want me to say London? London.
All right, Jesus
London.
Christ. Jesus, you
Like,
didn't have to go
goddamn,
that
London.
way.
I'm from the streets. That's how I pronounce this shit.
No, you're not. You're not from the streets. You're
Like,
not.
come on, man.
We
All right.
all have been around where you're from. You're
Oh
not.
no, Chris Bass talking about Atlanta. I've been in Atlanta in the trenches. I've been there before. I've been riding in my car going to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and some people stop me on the side and they say, yo, we know where to park your car. Just turn right. And I said, nah, I'm good. I'm familiar with these parts. And then I turn the other cheek. No, you gotta have the street savvy, you gotta have the street smarts. But to Chris Bass's point, edge rushers are getting paid just as much as quarterbacks now. So if they do hit, then it does make sense giving up the first round picks. But if they don't, then it doesn't. It's all a cost replacement thing. Now Caleb Belts goes, Bowers and Genty going to be generational, and Luther Burden the third, and it may be time to have some conversations.
Sounds fire, honestly.
And
sounds
they
like
have,
my worst nightmare. It sounds like what I want to be living, actually.
yeah, and they have Geno Smith. So Geno with Bowers,
So
with
that might be the
Genty.
least attractive thing that you
Oh no,
saw.
it's actually the only reason why they're even relevant right now. If
Yeah.
they had Gardner Minshew instead of Geno, we're not even talking about this team being something that could be good. Because they have Geno, we know they could be really good.
Raiders are,
Geno Smith has never had a under 500 record in his NFL career as a starter.
He's missed the playoffs 2 years in a row.
But he's been 10-7 when he missed the playoffs and 9-8.
That's adorable.
Yeah. What do you mean? He's a winning quarterback. He's
Now
a
he has
winning
to play
player.
The Chiefs twice, the Chargers twice, and the Broncos twice.
Tough division. Raiders have the two best skill position players in the division.
Talk.
Respect Rashee Rice, but you're not wrong.
Okay,
Rashee Rice-
Pedro Ramirez goes,
Talk.
Herbert is going to thrive with Hampton, especially since Herbert is the best play action quarterback in the NFL.
He will.
Some people try to say being a play action quarterback isn't good.
It's a skill. Got to be able to really sell that, you know.
I agree.
I just feel like this is it's a total 180 from where Herbert was to begin his career, where they were just pass heavy, and now they actually have a respectable running attack. Like having Amari and Hampton and Najee Harris, that's so good. That's a great duo.
I'm going to be
You're a
honest.
Najee guy now.
I'm dead.
This is
As a secondary running back, of course, I think Amari and Hampton, he's not a good pass blocker, so he's not going to play on third downs. Najee Harris is. So Najee Harris is going to be out there for third downs, and then you have Amari on for first and second down. I feel like that's a great compliment. That's the 1-2 punch right there.
I miss when Herbert was a pass first quarterback, man.
Yeah, he still kind of is, but
You know what I mean.
yeah. What did he
I
have?
missed
Like
it. I missed
4,000 yards this year?
Didn't feel like it. I don't think he did, actually.
No, I think he had 4K.
I don't.
He had 3,800.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he did.
3,870.
And I don't think he had 30 touchdowns either.
Jalen Green with an E goes, what does your pancreas do, Joel?
That's actually hard.
It's
I don't
there.
get it. It went over my head.
Like what's
Hey,
what
no,
does
your
he-
actual organ. What does your pancreas do?
Well, it's easy. I mean, we all got to talk about the location of it. It's in your back. That's number one.
No, not really.
I'll be honest. You got me.
I think you mean your
biology?
kidney.
That's not you.
Failed that fast, like in January. That
We're going
fast.
through the second semester.
Yeah, dude, I didn't get that far.
Nah, listen, Jalen Green with an E, with all due respect, give us some geography questions. That's what we're good at. Mool 31, Gentle Blue Wind. Can you go over the Atlanta Falcons schedule with these new edge rushers, please?
No.
Wow, it's gonna make such a big difference. James Pierce and Jalen Walker.
Jalen Walker moves me.
They're good, but I don't think like they like change like
Drew,
wow.
somebody said the
looking at-
pancreas is processing alcohol. Is that a fact?
No, that's the liver.
Oh, because my liver is fucked.
Pancreas has to do with digestion.
Ah.
Sort of, kind of. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna pretend like I know all that all too well.
Didn't you have to study this stuff?
I swear.
hey,
that's
it's
why
been
I-
years.
That's why I get to play.
Just hope and pray you're not my patient in the near future.
Somebody said it's where you pee. Pancreas.
That's your urethra.
This guy's lying. I gotta stop
Yeah, this
listening to
dude.
this
It's your
Come
pee
on,
hole.
bro.
No,
Your
that's
urethra is your pee
guy. Some
hole.
of these comments, man. Who said that?
Oh.
Snipe, shut your ass up, man. Lying to me.
Hold on, let me look it up.
I'm looking up is Dubai its own country?
Yo, dude.
Jeez, give it up, Ben.
It's not
Give
a
it
it's
up.
not a country. It is a city.
In
It serves as both a city and emirate within the United Arab Emirates in Asia.
That doesn't answer anything. I feel like
Yeah, it's
W.
it's in the UAE.
The
Yes.
pancreas plays a role in both digestion and blood sugar regulation. I am smart.
Yo, Joel, what's the other word for Washington, D.C.? Like, do you know the other phrase?
Like the can we give it like the acronym? Is that what you're looking for?
Like, it's the I'm gonna help you out, Joel. It's the
I don't understand your
the
question.
district of what? Like, what else is it called?
Oh, Colombia.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, I know United States things.
All right. Just making sure we lock it.
What's our nation's
Looking like
capital?
a true American.
What is our nation's capital?
The United States capital?
Yeah.
Well, it's DC.
There
Are
we
you
go.
sure?
Well, it's the District of Columbia.
Has it always been DC?
That,
What has
see, this is a great
changed?
question. He's asking the hard-hitting questions.
Well, it probably hasn't always been in DC because in 1876 the Constitution was written in Pennsylvania. Correct?
1876?
1776. It's
There
one
we
of the
go.
76.
Better,
That's
that's
why the
better.
76ers named themselves 76ers. I mean, come on. You got to know this stuff.
What city?
Shit.
The 76. Okay.
Philadelphia. The city of brotherly love.
He was about to say shit. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure. Wasn't Albany our nation's capital for a minute?
It might have been.
I
Bro.
knew it was Philadelphia. Maybe I don't know.
I'm not
It's
going
definitely not. It was Philly. I feel like it was Philly.
What's the capital of New Jersey?
Trenton.
Trenton.
What's the capital of Kentucky?
Oh, it was New York City.
That makes
I
actually.
don't know
perfect
shit
sense.
about capitals. I'll be honest.
Kentucky.
Wait, what was the question? What's the capital? What?
Of Kentucky.
Oh my God, not a fucking clue.
Wow. Capital of Kentucky.
Let's see.
Riv, lock in, man. We're banking on you here.
Yeah, I know. And we're fucked. Kentucky.
Oh, there's Riv. If you actually get this, how do I say this without being crude?
You'd fuck me?
Sure.
All right. What's the letter it starts with?
F.
Damn. F?
F.
That's a dog shit. Oh my God, that letter sucks.
Riv, with all due respect, you're not getting this. Frankfurt. Would you
Oh,
ever have gotten
No,
that?
I was gonna say Fordham. No,
Frankfurt. I thought that was in Germany.
Yo, dude, you can have multiple. You're done. We gotta go. Come on.
Okay, so this is Wikipedia. United Arab Emirates, the
United
UAE,
Arab.
is a country in West Asia in the Middle East at the eastern end of the Arabian Peninsula. It is a federal elective monarchy made up of 7 emirates, with Abu Dhabi serving as its capital.
Ooh, Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. It shares land brothers with Oman to the east and northeast and with Saudi Arabia to the southwest, as well as maritime borders in the Persian Gulf with Qatar and Iran.
Nice. We getting
All right.
Arab money. Yeah,
Never know what you're gonna get on this podcast.
All right, so we just learned what the UAE is, and it's not in India.
Joel,
I still don't really know what it is.
Joel, somebody said, "How do you mispronounce every word?"
And I would love for them to like pronounce Spanish words. All right. This play goes before stream ends. Condolences to Gilbert Arenas and his family. As you know, his son, the 5-star recruit, got in a car crash yesterday and is in a coma. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was no main damage. Just inhaled a lot of smoke.
Yeah, they said he's in stable condition, so fingers crossed.
He'll wake up soon. Believe that. This is a great story for his NBA career, by the way.
Yeah, I wonder what happened because it seemed like it wasn't on like a highway or something.
He
It
just hit
seemed
a
like
tree.
Yeah, but did you see what the car looked like?
Nah, I didn't see it.
It looked like he was going like 80 miles an hour, bro. It looked crazy.
Damn, that sucks. Now, so the game 3 games, really the 3 that happened. The Knicks take game 3. They're up 2-1 against the Pistons.
How about we talk about this tomorrow?
We could just briefly recap it.
It's 2 a.m. Come on, let's
Listen,
just go to
man. If I'm up, we up.
Yeah, OKC, they beat Memphis, and now they take a 3-0 series lead. It looked like Memphis was going to win this game, then John Moran got hurt, unfortunately, because of a Lou Dort play.
I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was dirty.
Did you? I didn't think it was fine.
I thought you should have gave him at least a flagrant one. Like, you got
No,
it.
it would have been cool if you gave him a flagrant, but I didn't think like Lou Dort intentionally tried to.
No. It was crazy.
It was bad.
He kind of slipped, and as he slipped, John Morant is jumping up in the air. It's like that's tough.
I think the biggest story, though, is that the Clippers kind of beat up on the Nuggets.
Yeah.
They didn't get the
bigger
bigger
story.
story.
You could argue is the Knicks squeaking out another W and adding fuel to Joel's fire of being worried about the Pistons.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. They combined for 103 points, and we won by 2 points.
You guys almost got screwed at the end too.
Detroit played.
Yeah, we got
malfunction.
I feel like a lot. We left a lot of players open from 3 in the end that they were just missing shots, and
I thought that was a backcourt call.
No,
that was also one that was kind of up in the air. I think it was fine overall. I mean, listen, the Knicks should get by Detroit, but I don't think it takes away from anything of what the outlook is on the team overall. This was a great game, but it was also like the best game Brunson and Cat had. Mikal and OG played really well, and we won by 2 points. It's a fantastic win, but at the same time, like, we had all of them play their best games, and we barely won.
I think we gotta re-emphasize the Pistons are good.
No, they're not good.
I mean, they're a good team.
They are a good team.
No, they're a good defensive team. Their offense is not good.
No, but defense gets you far.
Yeah, like they're gonna be so much better when they get better players. Oh my god, like it's gonna get really dark for them, like for the league when they get better players. Like it was moments in that game where you watching their offensive possessions. Like if you take Cade out the possession, it was rough.
But Dennis Schroeder played really well.
He did. But it'd be certain points just like you get a bad Tim Hardaway 3. Granted, had a good game, but you get a bad Tim Hardaway 3, or you get a nasty lob off like the backboard, or you get like a tough Malik Beasley floater. Like it was really just it's a lot. Like they pride themselves on defense, and they don't really have an offensive system. And that JB Bickerstaff never really does, so he's more of a defensive minded coach. But they really give the Knicks hell just with aggressiveness, physical stuff, defensive-minded team. And the Knicks had opportunities where they could have made this game a 15, 20-point game, but Detroit kept fighting back. Yep. At every waking moment. Detroit kept giving them a blow. They kept getting back in it. Like you texted it too, Joel. Isaiah Stewart, he's missed in this series, man, because Jalen Duren was getting barbecued chicken. Paul Reed was dope, but that's what Cat kept coming down, trailing, boom, 3. Duren's just giving him space. Giving him space. Like Cat was killing Duren today. So, this team.
If they were doubling Cat, they just didn't know what to do at the end of the game. They were just like, let's just try and throw 2 bodies at him, I guess.
I feel like the flow of this game for Brunson felt different. I feel like he didn't come into this thinking about scoring first. He thought about it and getting everybody in rhythm. And that's why everybody's played well. And we were running our offense more through Cat, and he was getting those doubles. And everybody kind of ate off that. I feel like in game 1 and 2, it was very reliant on hero ball. But in the 85th game of the season, I didn't know I'd be relying on Cameron Payne this much. He's pretty huge. He's our best player off the bench. Outside of Mitchell Robinson.
Didn't even play. The fact that he was so big for y'all in game 1, came up clutch. And game 2, he played like 5 minutes, I think. Obviously, he lost the game, but yeah, he was big again.
He looks crazy.
OKC made a comeback against Memphis, and OKC SGA. This was his better game versus game 1, game 2, but J-Dub and Chet continue to like play elite, and then Caruso went on a run where he just took over defensively.
What was SGA tonight?
More efficient than game 1 and game 2 for sure.
Oh,
maybe like 10 for 26. I'm honestly asking. I don't know.
He hasn't been that efficient against Memphis.
10 for 26, yeah.
Bro said, I don't know, 10 for 26.
That's a guess.
31, 4, and 8, though.
Yeah,
I mean, one thing you can't say about him is that they would have won this game without him.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna be honest. Where this game turned was when Chet Holmgren remembered that he's amazing at basketball. To go and start this game with 1 point and to finish with the stat line that he did, no, he really came to play in that second half. And also, Jalen Williams has been their most consistent player in these 3 games. He's been sensational.
Desmond Bain was dog shit. That was the game right there.
Yeah, I mean,
They were 20.
SGA's probably been their 4th best player this series, and
Yeah.
it really hasn't mattered. They're up 3-0. I mean, they were down as much as 29 in this game.
It was like 30, bro.
Then the second half, third quarter came around. They started the third quarter 15 for 18 from the field, and they just like, you know what, we're not going to miss. And then the fourth quarter, Alex Caruso was like, if I'm guarding you, I'm just going to take the ball from you. Or like 3 straight possessions in a row. Chet hit some big buckets. I appreciate Memphis giving us a good game because game 1 was really ugly. Game 2 was closer, but never really that close to like, oh man, they might do it. So shout out to them for,
this was supposed to be an ass whipping, bro. I'm disappointed.
They were supposed to win this game for
sure. Ass with like, yo, in the second quarter, it was really belt to ass. Like it was belt to ass.
Bro, I'll be honest. Once Ja went out, I was like, there's no, I didn't care. I knew they were up 30. I was like, the Thunder will win this game.
You're going to have to see me if they get swept, bro, with all due respect. You're going to have to fucking see me.
You got lucky, bro.
Lucky? What are you talking about? You're up 30.
Because if they play, if they're playing like Minnesota or something, bro, they're struggling. They're struggling hard.
I didn't get lucky. No, I knew what the vibe was going to be.
You got lucky. You got lucky they played Memphis.
I did not.
You got lucky. You got lucky.
Memphis loses to everybody.
Like I said, you're going to have to see me if they get swept. You better pray to God they win one.
You got lucky.
Tonight was your night.
You got lucky. They were getting belt to ass when Ja was in the game. Like really just getting their ass whipped.
Ja was a plus 16.
No, I know he was good. You don't have to tell me. Trust, I watched the games.
He was good.
Scottie Pippen Jr. was really good too.
Talk about how Jaren Jackson at the end of the quarter was getting locked up by a 6'3" guard. Can we speak on that?
Oh, that 6'3" guard is
no, Drew. I'm sick of this shit. Can you gonna say anything about this man? Like
you only show up when he plays bad.
Joel, they was up 30. Jaren should be able, the best player in the team should be able to end the game. Right?
I'm not high on this team as a collective unit.
I didn't ask that.
I didn't ask that.
I didn't ask that.
You have some type of theory that I think Jaren is like this dude.
No, Jaren should be able to end this game, correct?
No, I don't think
he's
capable of doing that.
They were, well, to be fair to Riv, he's got a point. They were up 30. You can't secure a win up 30.
He's not that guy. I don't think Jaren's that guy.
Memphis is chalked. It's over.
I mean, I said it. They got a bunch of B players.
No, Bane does suck though. That's the real takeaway.
He does not suck.
No, today I'm saying today he sucked. He was
Zach Edey also is terrible.
Yeah,
The way you guys speak on modern day Yao Ming is insane, bro.
Stop doing that.
Modern day Yao Ming. Respect Yao
Ming, bro.
You don't even respect Yao Ming.
How many
All-Star teams did he make in his career?
I think 4.
I was gonna say 3.
Want to say 4? You don't know. So you
I'm looking at his fucking basketball reference.
I think it's 6. I'm going to go with 6.
All right, I'll say 4.
All right, I'm going with 6. Are you looking at the best?
He's an 8-time All-Star.
Okay, I was closer, so I win.
Zach Edey isn't getting 1.
How many time All-NBA was he?
4.
Joel?
3.
Joel.
If he's an 8-time All-Star, like 2 of those were pity All-Stars, like towards the back end where they just got him in because he was the tallest guy in the league.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I hate to copy Riv, but I'm gonna go with 4.
Is that your final answer, Joel?
No, I'm gonna go with 4.
He said no, but I'm gonna go with 4.
Let me think. Let me look at the basketball reference page real quick.
All right, he has 5 All-NBAs.
I was gonna go with 5.
Why?
I was literally gonna go with 5.
I tried to give you that opportunity.
I can't believe it.
He wasn't gonna go with 5.
I was gonna. No, I promise you, I had it in my mind. I was gonna go with 5.
You sold it. I gave you a chance to be the Yao Ming guy.
Yeah.
You
I was gonna go with 5.
Zach
Edey's not getting 1 All-Star, let alone
in order to get the Yao Ming, Zach Edey will have to go to like overseas and like inject himself with mad steroids to be able to play like Yao Ming. I'm not even trolling. Like Yao Ming was dead a dog. Like dog. Like Zach Edey, he looks like he just learned how to play basketball.
So the Clippers beat the Thunder, and maybe game 4 is going to be different, and the Nuggets are just going to win this, and they're going to be tied 2-2. But the Clippers won this game without good performances, or I should say, great performances from their best players, and they're pretty great defensively tonight. And Denver struggled, no bench production outside of Jokic. Everybody's kind of up and down, and even Jokic didn't really shoot the best. I thought they guarded him really well. I wish John was here to talk about it, but he's
Jokic
not.
was 9 for 14.
Well, maybe it's just the Zubac's isolated possessions that I saw where I think
He was a
should
minus 20. They did get bent over and plowed.
Wow.
He did have 23, 13, and 13. I'm going to be honest, this is a game I do have to watch back. I saw it was a 30-point game. I was watching the draft. I was watching the end of the Grizzlies.
They locked them up, bro.
Did not watch a good portion of this game.
They like
that being said, this was bad. This was bad. And there was while I was keeping track on my phone, there was moments where they like got it within like the teens range, and that was kind of like the closest they got it to. But it was basically the whole game. Clippers were dominating the Nuggets on every facet.
Yeah, they was locked in defensively. I mean, you got contributions from everybody, from Derrick Jones Jr. to Nick Batum to Norman Powell to Zubac doing his thing. It just felt like Denver was scrambling on their defense. You know, like you mentioned it, the Joker had a triple-double. They were damn near a triple-double. Denver doesn't have a consistent group of guys that can show up for you on a night-to-night basis. It's just what they've been this year. It's what they are. With the Clippers, you have guys where at least you know defensively they're going to be there. You know, Derrick Jones Jr. is going to give you that effort. Batum's going to give you that effort. Ben Simmons, even when he comes in and just runs up and down, defensively, he's going to give you that effort. You know, so this team prides themselves on defense, and then what they give you on offense is what they give you. With Denver, they're still scrambling. You don't know what, you know, and then them jokerless minutes, man. Oh my God, like it's brutal. But the Clippers belt the ass. Honestly, you could argue they could be up 3-0 right now. Like you could legitimately argue they could be up 3-0. They could have took that, you know, that game they lost. The Clippers are really good. They're giving this team a lot of fits, and there's a real possibility that they go into game 4 and they can win that too.
Yeah, they take game 4. This series might be over. Again, this was like the third most important thing tonight. Draft, then the Thunder were going back and forth. But early in this game, Harden was cooking. He had 20 points in the first half, then didn't score in the second half. I don't know how many minutes he really played in the fourth quarter, but he got off to a super hot start. But everyone, I mean, they shot like 46, 47% from 3 on like 43. So they were just hitting shots. And then if this Clippers team is hitting shots and they can set their defense, good luck. So yeah, again, I didn't really watch this game too intently, so I don't have much to take away from it. But Clippers are my pick. I think they're the better team. I think they'll get it done.
What's your thoughts on Tatum's hand, bro? With wrist?
I'm concerned.
Are you concerned like you won't make the finals? Concerned?
Oh, come on, brother.
No, concerned about the matchup with the Knicks in the next round if Tatum's not there.
Hey,
No.
Joel, please beat them.
I guess no. I'm just concerned about the Thunder potentially in the finals if he's not 100%.
Oh, dude, you're not getting that far.
Quick aside,
Y'all almost lost to the Heat.
The Heat are a good defense.
The Heat suck.
Offensively, you're not wrong.
The Heat fucking suck.
Yeah.
Quick aside, did you guys see what number Abdul Carter said he wants to wear in New York?
Yeah, he lost me.
Riv, did you get a chance to see this? I'd love your reaction.
I'll look at
He
it right
said,
now.
I've got a number in mind while he's talking to Micah Parsons.
Let me see.
He said number 56. Do you know who wore number 56 for the New York Giants, Riv? Just take a guess.
Eli Manning.
Okay, Riv, that
Dude.
you know what, Riv?
Quarterback,
Riv,
number
all
56.
the shit you gave Joel for geography, it was justified, the cackle that he just had.
I don't know
I'm gonna
numbers.
be
I know
honest
that.
with you,
I
Riv,
know that.
with love. With
No, number
love.
56 is crazy, dude.
Quarterbacks
That
are
is
0
the
through
worst
19.
sports guess of all time. Eli 56, diabolical.
You made it seem like it was somebody that's really like a pantheon.
He's
of
better
guys.
than Eli.
Yes, he's easily their
the
best
best player
player in
He
their
is.
Oh, Lawrence
franchise.
Taylor.
A great job, buddy.
Lawrence Taylor.
Yo,
he wants to
Eli
win.
Manning was diabolically
My
bad.
fault. That's on me. That's on me.
Do you know what Eli Manning wore?
No.
Not even a guess.
8.
It's a famous soccer number.
Why the fuck would I know that?
That's a good
That's-
that's a
it's a
great
great
hit.
hit.
Yeah,
Probably
I
not
didn't
great
know
for Riv.
Indian shit either, so I get it.
Indian shit. I mean, we need help as a podcast. We need help.
Zero
Number
idea
10.
about
He was
soccer.
number 10. He was
Number
number 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
Messi.
yeah, but just quarterbacks, it's 0 through 19. or 1
who
through
else?
19,
Who
you know what I
else
mean?
were
Like,
number 10 in soccer? Because it was Messi, and then
Neymar.
okay, Ronaldo
know
didn't
that
wear
better
10,
than
did
me.
he?
Ronaldo
Right?
wore
7.
7.
That's your sport, brother.
What's
My
that mean?
sport.
Yeah, it's your sport.
My
Oh
sport.
my God, things are getting
That is
diabolical.
your sport. Let's not be funny here. That's your sport. You know. What
El
I'm saying?
Salvador is not a good soccer team nationally.
Yeah,
That's
but
what I'm saying.
Soccer is you know,
That's like Brazil. Italians are good. Brazilians are good at soccer.
soccer is a
Germany's
sport.
really good at soccer.
Germany is really
England's-
great. England's really good.
Yeah. El Salvador is not good
Belgium's
at
really
soccer.
good.
Yeah, but you guys are Hispanic. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? That's your thing.
You did group in all Spanish people before, so
I
mean,
did. No, we all do it.
Who's we all?
He tried to throw everybody into the bus.
Don't group me into that.
I've
begging
listened
you.
to your conversations outside the podcast.
Me?
Man. You don't have to. So one of us just has the balls to say it on air.
Yeah, bro. That's it'd be like that.
Somebody just asked me, "Where's Berlin?" I don't fucking know. Where is it?
Lock in.
Is it in Belgium?
No.
Berlin.
You never learned
Berlin
about the
Wall?
World War?
You never
Is it
learned about the
Britain?
Berlin Wall? Britain?
No, quote Russia. Is it Russia?
The fuck are you doing?
The Cold War was in Russia, though.
Yeah,
That's what you
not
just
what-
gave me that
it
guess.
wasn't really in Russia. It was with Russia, but yeah.
Ukraine?
Ukraine? Oh
No,
my God.
What were the territories that Russia
It's
fought
in
over in the Cold
Germany,
War?
Bud. It's
Berlin?
in Germany.
Okay.
The
It's
Cold
in
War was more
Germany.
about the nuclear.
The only thing I learned about Germany was the Holocaust growing up. I didn't learn about no Berlin.
Part of that was the Berlin Wall.
Talking to the microphone, Joel.
Part of that was the Berlin Wall.
Yeah, dude. You got to go back to school, man.
No, at least do a Google search. Do not use TikTok. It's not working. It's
Oh,
not
wait, hold
working.
up. Wait, I don't use TikTok for geography. I don't use it. I use it to search things up. The other day I was
Did
searching
you
up.
not just say I'm gonna
hotels.
go on TikTok to learn the geography?
No.
about-
I said after the stream because clearly I was uninformed and I was unprepared for this. I didn't know I was gonna get a ton of questions thrown my way about geography.
To be
But
fair,
If I search it up, I'll know.
we've learned about Berlin for like 14 years in a row in school.
You never played Call of Duty?
I never
map.
played the story modes. No.
It
I-
wasn't even a map. It was
Oh.
multiplayer.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought there was a multiplayer map for
The Berlin Wall.
Berlin Wall,
Yes.
There's
What
also
game?
a campaign. You got to lock in on the campaign.
Black
Black Ops 1, I believe it was.
It
Black
was
Ops,
Black
right?
Ops 1.
I mean, dude, there's a lot of things that once you're out of school, you don't learn. I mean, you don't use every day.
Stuck in the brain.
Yeah. I know some things though. It's just certain things interest me more than others. I'm very influenced by Japan. I like Japan a lot.
Do you know the countries that are in North America? Like, could you name them?
Yeah. I
No,
think
that
so.
is an amazing question. Rick. Can you?
Yeah,
Okay.
No, go ahead, Joel. Please. I'm begging.
United States,
Yes.
Yeah.
Canada.
for
Great
sure.
job.
I think Mexico's in North America too. People think it's grouped into Central America, but it's not. It's actually North America.
All right, he's right.
He's right, man. Okay.
Really? What else? I think that's the big three. That's
You-
like the LeBron, Wade, and Bosch of
No,
North
there is
America.
only 3.
First of all, which one is Bosch?
It can't be Mexico.
No,
I
this
think
is where
Canada.
things get
Canada.
political.
Canada's Bosch.
This is where things get political.
Wade.
And I'm gonna
Wade.
have to intervene.
Wade is
I'm gonna have to
Mexico.
intervene.
LeBron
US
is US.
USA is LeBron. That's the
Facts.
easy one.
LeBron, MJ, we're
Wade.
all
Wade
I'm
has
gonna
to be
honest,
Mexico,
Canada most definitely is Wade. is most definitely Wade.
bro. This dude says Hamp 123, bro. Who thinks Mexico's in Central America?
a good amount of people.
If you look at the map, it's literally on the same land as Central America. Every other country that's on the bottom of Mexico is literally Central America.
So you're saying the country's below Mexico?
Yes, you're right. Below Mexico.
to be
Central
fair,
America.
Mexico is also on the same land as the United States.
Yeah, you're right. So it
And
makes
yeah,
no
I'm from
sense
Mexico.
why one is Central American and why aren't they all just North American?
They're in the
know.
central between South America and North America.
There's something going on there.
It's- Holy shit. Yeah, you know, this is amazing. I'm tired of shit, but it's so funny. I can stay up.
Hawaii is a state. Snipes just put that. Is it a
It
country?
is.
Yes or no, Joel?
Yeah, I said yeah, it's a state because he asked if it's a country.
One day I'm going to ask you what are the 50 states, and I want you
All
to
right,
Someone asked
Joel,
if
trivia
Hawaii was a
question.
country?
What's the biggest state in America?
Ooh. This is a tough one because it could be two
Could
or
be a
three.
mis-
Well,
it's
it's not really that tough. It's
So
really
what
between California has a gigantic fucking strip.
That thing's pretty big.
Yeah, it's
Boy,
it's
that boy
fucking
long.
massive. It's
Yeah,
massive.
it's huge.
So that's definitely like in my top 5 that I'm thinking of.
Top five.
Yeah.
You're between 5 states.
Five. I'm gonna be honest. If you're between 5, wrap it up.
No. I'm just I'm spitballing out here. You guys put me on the spot.
How about you just name the top 3?
Texas is big as hell.
Texas is big.
Yeah.
Big as
so
shit. Girthy.
I think Texas and California.
Okay.
New York, a lot of people live there, but it's not the
I'm gonna
biggest
just
strip
do
of
me a
land.
favor. Yeah,
Yeah.
get that one out.
It,
We're not talking about
depends what you're asking in terms of big population, math,
We're not
like
talking about
Yeah,
land.
right.
No, I said what I said specifically. What's the biggest state?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's really just between Texas and California.
All right,
I'm glad that's your
lock
top
one in.
2.
Lock one
Okay.
in.
I'd rather went
Fuck.
from top 5 to top 2.
Well, one is a blue state, one is a red state. Had to take that
Yes.
into account.
Which
Okay.
one?
What's that got to do with the size of them?
Texas has more girth.
Yo, I'm crying.
California has more length.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So this is a tricky question. Shit.
Do you know what sucks about this, Joel?
What?
Neither of these two states are the biggest state in
That's
America.
because it's Alaska. Nobody gives a shit about Alaska though.
There's actually people who live up there that probably.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about Alaska.
What's the population of Alaska? Over under 400,000.
Under.
over.
I'll go
Oh.
under.
Let's see.
Oh, good question, Joel. Can you name the 7 continents?
Absolutely.
740,000.
Oh,
North America, Central America, Africa.
Central America?
No. My bad. I had a brain fart. Don't count that shit.
Yo, you're dumb as rocks,
North
bro.
North
You're
America,
supposed to be a smart person.
Asia, Africa. Those are the big 3.
Okay.
Mm,
You love Africa. You've told me all about it.
damn, they said there's 7 of these shits. Fuck. After 3, I'm fucking stuck.
No, he's trolling now. He's trolling. He's not this stupid. I know
Wow.
Joel. He said some stupid shit in his day. He's not dumb enough to not know the 7.
He's
Oh,
struggling.
7? I mean, come on, give me a break. Let me name 3.
Why are you Googling stuff?
I'm not Googling shit. I'm actually not. You can look. I don't got nothing in front of me right now. Okay. I named 3.
Yeah.
All right. I named 3.
Yep.
For these next 4, you guys are gonna have to give me a hint of like what country is in one of these.
All right. No, I'm not doing that.
Why not?
Australia, Antarctica, North America, South America.
Don't give me the last
Europe.
one.
Okay.
Oh, fact. South America is an easy one. That's a good
Yes.
pull.
This
Antarctica's not a continent.
Antarctica is.
It
Del-
is.
Dels,
It is.
Dels,
I didn't know Antarctica was a continent.
Dels.
North America, South America,
you go.
Europe, Asia,
Uh-huh.
Antarctica, Australia,
Uh-huh. Africa. Can't forget that
Africa?
one. You
Yeah.
specifically cannot forget that one.
And
Yeah,
the more
yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, Dels, you got.
You know,
only
there's
got 6.
there's 3 that I just know for sure: North America, Asia, Africa, because those are where my roots are.
You just
for
don't
real.
care about Europe, huh? You just Lucas
might-
from Europe.
I might visit there one day.
Where?
Europe,
I'm saying like where? It's a
Oh,
big.
I've been to Europe. It's a movie.
Spain
Spain.
is attractive.
Okay.
Spain
Somebody
is-
that was the comments are saying you're purposely forgetting about Africa.
I just didn't get to it yet.
Interesting.
he has no hopes of going to Ghana one day.
I have a Ghana soccer jersey. I'm hashtag.
Dels,
Stan.
you don't have any hopes to go into Ghana?
I mean, I can't say it's on my short list.
Is
My
there any
God.
African countries on your short list?
I have to give it some more thought.
Name me one African country right now.
This is
South
a,
Africa.
Huh?
South
What?
Africa.
He
Okay.
banged. He banged. He got lucky. He got lucky as shit, actually.
somebody asked me where's Amsterdam. I know it's known for weed smoking.
Yo, that's actually an excellent. Do you know where it is?
yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue. I could taste it.
That was crazy.
Where's Amsterdam?
I'm pretty sure it's the Netherlands.
Okay.
Would you have gotten that actually or no?
No, my guess was gonna be France.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, it's kind of like similar to me.
Jesus Christ.
All
no,
right.
it's not. It's
What
not
continent
similar.
is Russia in?
That's
It's
a
big
great
as shit,
question.
too. It's
That's
big
a
as
great
shit.
question.
Well, we have to do this by canceling some. It's not in North America.
Great
It's not
job.
in Antarctica, so it can't be there.
Nothing is.
It can't be in Asia. I don't think so.
It is.
It's in Asia. Russia's in Asia.
Yes.
I don't correlate the two. I don't
If you would
correlate.
have said Europe, I wouldn't have been mad.
When I think of Asia, I think of like Singapore, China, Japan.
Singapore.
Yep.
Singapore.
Yeah, it's one of the safest countries in the world.
Singapore.
Yes.
You think of Singapore when you think of that?
Yes.
You can't be fucking serious. There's just
Bro,
no
Singapore is a beautiful country. It's one of the most amazing countries in the world.
But no. There's just no. That's
And
the
now
first thing that comes to your mind.
I think of India too when I think of Asia.
No shot in hell.
Yeah, absolutely. Why do you say that?
Usually when I hear
What do you
Asia,
think of India?
China, Japan.
What no, I'm saying what do you like when you think of Asia, you don't think of India too?
No, I think China, Japan, Korea, South and
So
North.
when you think India, what do you think of?
Shit, nothing.
The Taj Mahal.
Yeah, really nothing. I don't have a thought for India.
Somebody asked where is Bangkok. We answered this question. It's in Thailand.
We've answered all the
Somebody
geography
said that
questions.
we're racist, and then somebody responded, "No, they're only stupids. No racist."
I respect the hell out of that. I'd rather be stupid than racist. Fact.
No, ignorance is bliss. Where's Dublin? This shit gotta be in Ireland, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say they gave you a lay up, but we've also given you some layups, and you have sold.
Where is Ethiopia? This is in Africa, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
I'm like 99% sure that
I'm like
that's right.
95.
Yeah, there are certain things that you can kind of guess. Like Dublin is Ireland. Dublin,
Oh shit.
it's
Mom,
Ireland.
this is where we
I
get
can
off
kind of
beat.
correlate the two.
Well, relax.
You know,
I'm not
Mount
racist. I'm just stupid.
like Mount Everest. I have no idea like where.
That's in Asia, I'm pretty sure.
It's in Asia.
Do you know what it
They're
is?
in Asia.
I honestly don't know.
Joel, do you know what it is?
Mount Everest.
Yeah.
A mountain.
Got it. Great job.
Good answer.
It's the tallest mountain in the world.
Okay, somebody said, "Where's Lisbon?" This is gonna fucking get me.
Where's Kansas City?
Kansas,
Wrong.
No.
Portugal.
Missouri. Facts,
Missouri.
facts, Missouri.
Bastard.
It's in Portugal, right?
Isn't Kansas in the? It's in the Kansas City's in the border though of both. I think.
Yeah, but it's Missouri.
All right.
Lisbon is in Portugal, I think.
Where is the UK? Isn't this in Britain?
United
Yeah,
Kingdom, brother.
United Kingdom is Britain. Mhm.
Yeah, there are some things that you can kind of. Where's Turkey, Joel? November 28th.
yo, we done. Oh shit.
Well, Turkey got it. Turkey is in.
It's a country.
I know it's a country, obviously, but
It's like kind of Middle East.
Middle East. So does that mean it's in it's in Asia? Where is Turkey? It sounds like a Europe thing.
Yeah, is it technically Asia? Asia,
I
Europe.
feel like it's in Europe.
A Middle East is
No, it's a country in the Middle East. It's Southeast Europe.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah, it's
Europe.
What'd you say?
It's Europe. It's in Europe.
Yeah. Name the countries in the UK.
Oh my God. Can we wrap this up? It's 2:30.
Well, this is the last one. This is Spanish. I know this. Where's Machu Picchu?
That's in South America.
I think this shit is in
A mountain,
Peru.
right?
What'd you say? Peru?
Mm-hmm.
It might
You know
be.
where Peru is?
I'd be shocked if you did.
South America.
You know where Portugal is?
Europe.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
next to Spain.
What state?
Right
I was
next
gonna-
to Spain is
I was
right.
just gonna say that, Riv. What country?
We're here, Dels. We're here.
It is the baby bro to Spain.
It really
Where's
is
Moscow? See, Moscow is easy. It's Russia. I think of Vladimir Kozlov.
Okay.
That's a
Yo,
good
that's
one.
a great question too. Do you know where Albuquerque is?
Yeah.
I know where
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque is solely because of High School Musical. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, isn't it in New Mexico?
Yes.
Bang.
Bang.
I think that's the capital, right?
I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't know.
I actually let me not even say that.
Somebody
Wow.
said, "Well, who did the Holocaust?"
James, I was just gonna say.
Santa Fe.
Do you know though?
Santa Fe is
Oh,
New
Santa Fe.
Mexico. Wait, what about? Do I
I-
know where?
They were asking Joel who did the Holocaust.
Okay.
Oh, come on. That's pretty clear.
Let's not say that guy's name.
Pretty clear.
Let's not say that guy's name.
Where's Istanbul? This is in Turkey.
Yeah.
Istanbul. See, there are certain things that they sound like where it's from. You know?
Wrap this shit up, man.
Wrap
Sorry.
this shit up is right.
All right, we'll be back next show with some more geography trivia if you guys want to ask those questions, the hard-hitting questions. This was a nice brain exercise. I like it.
Riv, your
Work on that.
geography knowledge had people thinking you're smarter than me. Maybe it's true.
Geography. I'll take the crown on that. Anything else, I like to consider myself an idiot until proven otherwise.
I think that Riv
Kind of like your thoughts on OKC and the Grizzlies.
I think Riv has an edge up on geography because like he works with kids and stuff, so he might like look at maps a lot.
All day. All day.
He walks into the classroom and he sees the fucking world map in front of him.
Yo, we actually have a big ass globe. So
And kids come up to him and ask him certain questions, and he's just learning while he goes.
Hell yeah, man. I definitely have that edge. I chat GPT a lot of shit in there though.
Yo, read Cameron Rogers. Read his chat, bro.
Okay. And that's gonna do it for this episode of the Pixar Podcast. Thanks for watching. Dels is ready to go. He doesn't want to get in trouble. He's the most susceptible to saying the wrong thing here. Carlos Geraldo, love y'all. I finally got to see a stream, even though it's wrapping up. Have a blessed night. You guys have a blessed night too. Make sure you guys like the stream for giving you guys this great content. You probably didn't know much about geography either until you guys learned some things. It's all about trial and error, and that's what we try to do here. So thank you for watching. We'll be back soon with a brand new episode. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.